For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Adela Brody. I am the mother of Bam Lush. So before we start, you can hit that subscribe button, you can like, you can share, you can comment, and please go over to her page at Bam Lush and do the same because she has a lot of information. She is just like amazing. She told me to come on here. So I am here. So bear with me. This is new to me, okay? I was born Tracy Sherelle Goodwin at the age of 4. My mom converted to Islam, and I chose my name out of an Arabic book. My mom said that I was 4. I thought that I was 8. I used to tell people this story. I was like, oh, my mom converted when I was 8 years old. I picked my name out of a book, and one day she heard me tell that story, and she said, no, you were not 8. You were 4. So what does that tell you? I'm smart. Anyway, I digress. So I chose my name out of a book. It means one who is just. And I fit that description. All my life, my mother said I should have been a lawyer. I take up for people who are marginalized, who were being bullied, who were outcasts, who were unusual creatures, because I'm unusual too. And I stood up for them. I spoke about what was right, what was wrong in this world, in society, in school, in class. It didn't matter where I was. If it was unjust, I spoke up. So God knew what he was doing when he told me to pick that name, Adela. So as I grew up, I was a Muslim. I went to Islamic school. Sister Clara Muhammad on 116th Street. Shout out to my girls that I grew up with. I read, I spoke, I recited Arabic, I wrote it, I prayed 5 times a day, and it taught me to be disciplined. It taught me about faith. It taught us to stand on faith. And as I got older, I started following Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he started talking about a man named Jesus. Yeah, that's right. I said it. He started talking about a man named Jesus being the Messiah. He started talking about him. He started teaching us about the Bible and the Quran, and teaching us that there were similarities to Judaism and Islam and Christianity. Yeah, well, we won't go into that. I will tell you about that later, but there are more similarities than not, and we are fighting over things that we should not be fighting over, but that is another story for another time. So I got older, and into my 30s, I started wondering, I started getting this feeling. I'm like, I wasn't satisfied in Islam, not because of anything wrong, because they taught us how to pray to God. Allah is just Arabic for God. It's not another God, but I digress. I'll get to that another time. Islam taught me how to be faithful, how to pray, how to seek God. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, and all things will be added unto thee. But something was missing. And when I was in my 30s, which was horrible, I was afflicted with a lot of illness. They said I had multiple sclerosis. I was paralyzed for a year and a half. I had reconstructive surgery on my toe due to losing my joints a lot. That's another time, another story. So around when I was 34, 35, I started talking to my cousin Teresa, who's a follower of Christ, and she went to our grandmother's church, Abyssinian Baptist Church, which I love them dearly. And Pastor Kavanaugh Otis Butts III, God bless the dead, was pastor at the time. And I told her that I was asking her about who is this Jesus, who is this triune God, and she started to explain to me, and I started to visit Abyssinian Baptist Church. And I told her, one day I heard pastor talk about the doors of the church being open. And I asked her after service, well, what does that mean? She said, well, it means that people have an opportunity to come and give their life to Christ. They hand to the pastor because he's a human, but their life to Christ, their life to Jesus, because he died on the cross for us and saved us. And when she said that, something, when they say something, now that I know it's the Holy Spirit, something like leaped in me, something took over me. And I was like, yes, that's what I've been missing, because in Islam, we're taught about faith and we're taught about doing the works. But the works is, oh, if we get to heaven, we have to work to be good, work to be faithful, work to be honest, work to be pleasing in God's eyes. And I was like, why do we have to do all this work when we have a loving God? I never understood it. It didn't make sense to me. Everything else made sense to me in Islam, but that did not make sense to me. So when I visited Abyssinian again the following week, I wanted to get up and give my life to this Christ. I did not know everything in its totality, but it felt right in my spirit. I wanted to know who this Christ was. I was tired of doing the works. So I went to the church and I sat. He preached. I sat. He preached. I was waiting. I was waiting that day. I was waiting like this. I was waiting. And he didn't say it. He forgot, because he was so engrossed in what he was speaking about, what the word, he forgot. And I looked to my cousin and I was about to get up and she said, mm-mm. So afterwards I was like, well, why? Why can't I get up? I don't understand. How come I can't go? How come I couldn't go up and just run up there? And she was like, no, he didn't say the doors of the church. It was a Baptist church and that's what they're one of their protocols. And I was like, oh, okay, but I want to give my life to Christ. So I went back the following week. And you know what I did, lovelies? I sat. I don't even know what he was talking about, because all I was waiting for was, the doors of the church are open. And when he said it, he said the doors. And before he can finish, ooh, I shot up there because I wanted to know who this Christ was. So I gave my life to Christ and everything started. So of course I converted to being a follower of Christ. Not being a Baptist, not being a Christian, not being Episcopalian, not being a Protestant. Because in my spirit, I kept on saying, there's just one God. Like, there's one God. God the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? There's one God. How come we're all divided? I never understood that in Islam when we used to be taught the Bible and taught about the different denominations, and even in Islam, the different denominations in Islam, the different denominations in Judaism, the different denominations in Christianity. And I was like, but I'm reading these two books. I'm reading the Quran and I'm reading the Bible. And I see the similarities. I see the same people in the same word. And why are we so divided? I always felt that in my spirit, and everybody had different opinions. Man's opinion, not God's opinion. Everybody had different opinions. Whether it was in Judaism, Islam, Christianity, everybody had different opinions. And I was like, there is one God. I know there is one God, and he's not divided. He's not saying, okay, this is you, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. So when I gave my life, I started devoting my time, devoting myself, asking different questions to God, asking to be indwelled with the Holy Spirit, with the evidence of speaking in tongue. I just wanted to know. I wanted to seek his face. And here I am at 51. I am now an ordained pastor, an ordained prophet. I am divorced now. That's another story for another day. Yes, a divorced pastor and prophet. I'm taping. That's my grandkid. I'm taping right now. That's my grandkids. So here I am. I am taping, and I'm not cutting this. Here I am at 51, standing in front of you, sitting in front of you. This is my life. Come with me on this journey. The journey of being a mother, being an empty nester, but the grandkids are here. Being a friend, being a daughter of the Most High God, going from being a Muslim to a follower of Christ, being married for almost 9 years and then divorcing, being a pastor, being a prophet. Join me on this journey, and I promise you, lovelies, you will not regret it. So here I am. It's real, it's raw, it's life. I'm love, I'm laugh. I'm going to take you through the trials, the tribulations, and the triumphs. So I'll speak to you soon, all right? I got to tend to these grandkids. I don't know what they talking about. They ate already. But be blessed, be well, and I'll see you again soon. Love you.